Up, Snooze Babes? How are all you beautiful people doing today? Today we're going to be doing Players Cup 2 North America Top Cut Analysis. So I hit the lab today with my boy Professor Oak. He helped me out a little bit here, and we put together the top cut teams from the winners and the losers bracket of week 1. We did some percentages and we ranked them, and then we looked at maybe an upcoming team composition or core that you could expect to see in the upcoming months and weeks, especially as the Players Cup moves along and as the metagame develops. Season 7 has been really fun for me personally. I've really liked it, and I think these teams really reflect like the fun that you can have in this metagame, even though there is a lot of repetitive Pokemon, but they're ones that we really haven't seen very often in the previous series. So let's go ahead and check it out. So like I said, we're going to be looking at the Players Cup 2 North America Top Cut. The reason why I'm looking at North America is because that's my region, and so this is the metagame that will be affecting most of the people that I interact with. And if you're not from the NA region, I think a lot of this will still help because it gives a good idea of what's going on in our metagame and what you can probably expect to see going forward, since this is like a worldwide tournament. So first things first, here is the top cut teams from the winners and the losers bracket. We got Kyle, or Animus on Twitter, with Tapu Fini, Incineroar, Urshifu, Dusclops, Regieleki, Ice Horse, Glastrier. And you can just go ahead and look at the teams that we have here. There's actually, like, as you can see, there's quite a bit of difference in the teams. Like, some of them have similar Pokemon, similar cores, but like this Sun team only has Charizard. This one only has Venusaur. You have Regigigas in here from Lexicon, Alex Underhill. And then you have Stakataka, Trick Room with Mamoswine to help deal with the genies that are everywhere. It can't be intimidated, which is really great for it. And then we have Grimmsnarl, who's been kind of absent in the last little while on some teams as well. So these are the teams that we had top cut. And then these are the usage statistics. So over on the far left, I have the number, like the number they ranked in usage, the Pokemon, the number of uses, so how many teams had this Pokemon on their team, and the percentage of usage. And I'm sorry if my percentages are a little off. I'm not the best with math, but I tried my best, okay? So just bear with me. But of course, we have Tapu Fini, number 1 on usage, because Tapu Fini, surprisingly, I think we all knew Tapu Fini was going to be really good, but I think everybody was so tired of being put to sleep by like Venusaur and Milotic and like all that stuff from previous series that we just threw Tapu Fini on everything because we hate statuses in VGC. And so Tapu Fini is a great defensive water fairy type that really fits on pretty much any team if you want it to, and really supports with that misty terrain. So, and it's on 44% usage. So you can pretty much bet on seeing Tapu Fini on mostly everything. Like, out of the top 16, 7 of them had Tapu Fini on their team. Next is Incineroar. I think that's also no surprise that Incineroar is number 2 in usage. It's been one of the best intimidators since it got Intimidate, with Fake Out and Parting Shot and the way to just move around the board and be annoying. So it also got Burning Jealousy, so now it can burn things that get boosts. So I think that's a no-brainer. I'm actually really surprised to see Kartana in the 3rd slot here in the usage statistics from this week. It was on 5 teams, had a 31% usage, and I thought if people were going with the Steel type that they would go with Metagross, because right now on the global rankings, Metagross is like number 3. And so you just think that people, if they were going with the Steel type and they wanted to stay on meta, they would have gone with Metagross. But Kartana actually pops up in the 3rd spot in the usage, which is really surprising to me because I just did not expect it to be there. But it's actually super strong. Like, it's just an all-around better Durant. And Durant was really great earlier on in Sword and Shield. And so I guess I can understand why it popped up into number 3. Boost defenses, really great with Sacred Sword. Leaf Blade's awesome for all the Tapu Fini running around. It can fight back with Incineroar with Sacred Swords. So I think, and it also gets access to like Aerial Ace, so you can max it, boost your speed. If you get a KO, you also boost your attack. Beast Boost is just so strong. Urshifu Single Strike comes in at number 4, and it actually ties in usage with quite a few Pokemon. So Urshifu Single Strike, Dusclops, Glastrier, I spelled that wrong, I know, I don't know how to spell it, Clefairy, Rotom Heat, Torkoal, Nihilego, I just call them Legos, Landorus, and Moltres Galar. They all tied for this 4th spot at about 25% usage, and I think that's pretty standard for Urshifu and even Landorus. I can understand those. Dusclops and Glastrier, I think also you would expect to see pretty often. They're probably the go-to duo now for Trick Room. But the ones that I'm actually pretty surprised about are Nihilego and Rotom Heat. So Nihilego hasn't been on anybody's radar for a long time. Like, even back in Sword and Shield, it really wasn't used a ton. You saw it every now and then, but nobody really used it a lot. But now for it to be number 4th in the usage in the Players Cup is actually pretty huge, and it actually has performed very well. And Rotom Heat, I think, popped up because of all the Metagross that are running around and all the Regieleki, and it does a great job at checking Regieleki, checking Metagross, checking other Steel types, other Electric types, and with Will-O-Wisp, Ally Switch, Nasty Plot, Rotom Heat can actually be really threatening. So I can see, if you think about it that way, why it would pop up. I just didn't expect Rotom Heat to be the fire type to break out of the pack. Regieleki comes in at number 5, tying with Tornadus, Grimmsnarl, and Zapdos Kanto form, so the regular Zapdos. So Regieleki and Tornadus, we all knew were going to be pretty popular. Prankster Tailwind, with weather control, hurricanes, taunts. It also could do Defiant, and so Tornadus and Regieleki is just so strong with its Transistor ability. It's incredibly fast, blazing speed, and so these two are definitely, they earn their 5th spot. Grimmsnarl and Zapdos Kanto actually surprised me a little bit. So Grimmsnarl was very popular earlier on in Sword and Shield, and then it fell off, and now it's come back again a little bit with its ability with dual screens and speed control and things like that. People are starting to find more, more pros than cons to run Grimmsnarl at the current metagame. And Zapdos is also just super strong. It got access to Hurricane, and so it has an extra strong flying type move, and when you Dynamax it, it's incredibly hard to take down, and it does so much damage. And so Zapdos Kanto is actually very strong, and when I play it on the ladder, I actually struggle with it a lot because it's not something I'm prepared for, and I think that's what the people that ran Zapdos in the Players Cup were expecting, was that people wouldn't think about how to deal with Zapdos Kanto. So it's very strong. Metagross, I'm actually surprised is so low on the usage. It was only on 2 teams. Same with most of the Pokemon on here. Metagross, Amoonguss, Rillaboom, Charizard, Flowers. That's the now I can't remember its name. It's the one with the priority healing moves that you use to proc weakness policy and stuff with Draining Kiss. So these guys, about to Venusaur, I could see these Pokemon having more use than they do. Metagross is one of the most popular Pokemon in the metagame worldwide, but only 2 of them made it into the top cut. Amoonguss is one of the best redirectors and annoyances on the field, but it barely squeaked in on any teams. Rillaboom is probably one of the strongest grass types with its priority grass moves, but again, it's on barely anything. Same with Tyranitar and Dragapult. These Pokemon we thought were going to be very strong and kind of dominate the metagame again, but they're barely squeaking in on any teams in the top cut. And I guarantee you that a lot of people were running Metagross, a lot of people were running Rillaboom, a lot of people were running Amoonguss and Tyranitar and Dragapult, and barely any of them made it into the top cut, which says a lot about the metagame, that people are prepared for these Pokemon, and so they're not performing very well. And we go on to the bottom of the barrel that we got here. Urshifu Rapid Strike. We had 1 Rapid Strike Urshifu in the entire top cut, and it was on the previous winner of Players Cup, his team, it wasn't him, but his team composition made it into the losers bracket top cut. Porygon 2 was a Trick Room setter. I think most people are going with the way of Dusclops now, because Dusclops just has more ways to proc weakness policy. Weezing Kanto was on a Regigigas team. These two went together. Mamoswine was there to check the genies. And DD Female was on a Trick Room team. Dracovish, Cresselia, and Colossal. So two teams were Regigigas and Weezing, they were on a team. Urshifu, Rapid Strike, and Colossal were on a team, and then the rest were just sporadically kind of thrown in there on a team. So I wouldn't expect to see too much of these, honestly. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have like an idea of how you would approach a team, especially like the Regigigas, Weezing, Kanto, because Aaron Zhang and Wolf and everybody, like, I mean, that was like week 1 of Series 7. That was like the go-to kind of like meme. Everybody's hyped about Regigigas team, so people are still running it, so just watch out for that. But the rest, you better have just like a slight idea of what to do. So here's another look at the top cut winners and losers bracket. And one thing I noticed is that Kokoro, Binju Wang, and Valentine VGC, Andrew Ding, were running the exact same team. And when I look at these statistics and I see two people using the exact same team, I honestly expect that team to be really popular, because two people that were using the same thing cut the same tournament, which is really says a lot about the team. And so I think this will be your upcoming team, and people have appropriately nicknamed this core the Nut Core because it's November and people are like, haha, no Nut November. And so they named it the Nut Core: Nihilego, Urshifu Single Strike, and Tornadus. Now this core actually works really well together, despite its silly name, because Tornadus and Nihilego are actually super strong. Nihilego usually has Power Herb and Meteor Beam. Urshifu is usually Focus Sash, sometimes it's Choice Banded, and then Tornadus is usually Defiant with Life Orb. And so these do a great job of helping each other accomplish the goal of winning, because you can lead Urshifu and Tornadus as a good lead, and Urshifu can benefit from the max airstreams from Tornadus. It can't get intimidated, so you don't have to worry about like your close combat's doing less or your sucker punches doing less. And then it can also just hit hard with Wicked Blows and threaten out the rock types for Tornadus. Or if they have like a lot of like ice types, or even if they have like an electric type or something that like really specially like Regieleki, you can use your Nihilego once again to benefit from max airstreams, Power Beam, Meteor Beam, boost your special attack, get a kill, do tons of damage. Some of them run Trick Room so that they can have a way to reset the Trick Room. And so these work really well together at just kind of covering each other and benefiting mostly from Tornadus and his max airstreams and wild charges to do just a ton of damage and threaten from both sides. It's actually a very hyper offensive core in my opinion, which is kind of surprising because you usually don't see offensive cores get very popular. Usually it's the really defensive ones that have a lot of switching synergy. And so to see like a really offensive core that is centered around boosting off speed and just doing huge amounts of damage and just crippling your opponent's team, I really like to see, because I think hyper offense is my favorite way to play, and I think it's really cool to see a core like this become something that could be very popular. So you will be running into this. If you haven't already, you will be running into this Nut Core, and possibly even just straight up Andrew and Benji's teams on the ladder. So look at like some of the common things. So it's usually like Power Herb, then like Citrus Berry, Nasty Plot, Life Orb, Focus Sash or Choice Band, Assault Vest, and then Eviolite Redirection. And so you want to have a way to deal with this core. For me, the way that I deal with it is on my teams that I've been using is I always focus on getting speed control, because the only speed control that they have on this team is the potential Trick Room from Nihilego, who usually is always Power Herb, and the max airstreams from Tornadus. So if I can get a Tailwind up and get a one-hit KO on either Tornadus, Urshifu, or Nihilego right off the bat, then the core can kind of fall apart. And especially if you have something to boost your defenses, like Kartana does great versus this core because it beats Nihilego and it can boost its defenses, and in some cases just one-hit KO Urshifu. And Tornadus can't really do a whole lot to do a defensive Dynamax Kartana. So speed control, I usually use my own Kartana, or I just try to go for a one-hit KO with one of my own offensive mons. So that's what I've been doing to try to beat it. Maybe you guys, if you were struggling with it, try to do the same. Really focus on speed control and stopping them from setting up their own Trick Room / Max Airstreams. So, but that's it for this, guys. Thanks for tuning into this video. I've never really done a video like this, so I'm sorry if it was a little shaky, but I appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with me nonetheless. So let me know what you thought in the comments. Let me know if you've seen anything that has come from the Players Cup that you've noticed on the ladder, or what cores you expect to see. I always love to interact with you guys in the comments, and I always appreciate them very much. So thank you to those that are commenting, and like and subscribe to see more videos like this, and follow me on Twitch. The link will be in the description for that. I'm going to start trying to stream once a week. I haven't been streaming for a while, but I have a goal to make the best rain team, that one that actually works, because I'm not doing anything, so why not? All right, so follow me if you want to see me, brawl my way through hell. Anyways, we'll see you guys on the next one.